Hello, good morning, and welcome to today's morning report with me, Richard Perry, market analyst at Hantech Markets for Wednesday, the 25th of June. The financial markets in the European trading session have opened up fairly down on the day so far, and that follows on from weakness that we had on Wall Street overnight. And also the downside that we saw in Asia. Now, there was no major reason behind the weakness that we saw yesterday. In fact, you actually had some fairly positive US data with new home sales and also the Case-Shiller index, both positive and also consumer confidence as well, beating expectations. But it did actually result in ultimately downside for the DAX. For the Dow and the S&P, the Dow over 100 points down on the day. Both markets also are just under 3/4% lower. To be honest, tensions in Iraq were probably being blamed for the lack of buying pressure, but there was no major increase in volumes. Volumes were actually quite light, in fact. And what we've seen overnight is, as I said, Asian markets coming down and European markets on the back foot early on as well. There's no huge moves yet on the forex markets. That is with the exception probably of sterling, which remains under pressure, and that comes after just a dovish shift from Mark Carney, basically saying that imminent rate rises were not necessarily going to be coming because you've had wage growth in the UK and productivity not really matching the improvements that we'd seen in GDP growth and also unemployment as well. So the the uh, the the currency for the sterling has just subsequently found a bit of selling pressure on the back of that. In terms of the dollar index, the dollar index has just in the last few days just corrected back towards that 200-day moving average, but no major moves that we've seen in the last few days. But the important thing being it's back below that 80.4 mark, which is pretty much the bottom of a big pivot band that the dollar index has been using recently, and that would suggest you're still slightly on the negative side for the dollar due to that move. And what we've seen on the VIX actually with the large correction or relatively large correction that we'd seen in the on Wall Street markets, the VIX has shot higher as a little bit more of interest in S&P 500 options has been taken up apparently. Anyway, so in terms of my chart of the day. Oh, well, sorry. First of all, the US data that we got today, Q1 GDP, the final reading of Q1 GDP, forecast to actually come in at now down 1.8% on the quarter. The second reading of GDP for the states actually revised it down to 1.0, so an even further downgrade of Q1 GDP. But that is was a very backward-looking piece of data. That is almost 3 months old now in terms of data-wise. So it is a very backward-looking piece of data, and to be honest, the market has probably priced it all in already. And other than that, you've got the durable goods orders that comes out also at 1:30 this afternoon. Forecast to come in at flat. The last reading was at 0.6%, but forecast to correct back towards 0.0. The recent data for the states has been increasingly positive, and it will be interesting to see if the market takes more of a view on that durable goods orders. It's probably more than likely to happen if durable goods orders beats expectations. Then you may get a bit of strengthening for the indices and also a bit of dollar strength as well. Anyway, so my chart today, as I said, is the DAX, and DAX in the last couple of weeks, the DAX has actually had this succession of either neutral candles or negative candles, and you've not really seen any majorly positive move, and that you've seen this move to the upside, 10,050 we saw posted, but that actually ultimately ended up being a bearish key one-day reversal following on from the previous day, and a big bear shooting star pattern as well, followed by a sharp move to the downside. So pressure is growing, I think, for this DAX chart. You're not seeing a major breakdown quite yet. You've got that big support that comes in at 98.10. 98.29 was the kilo from the 13th of June, and that remains the big support area there. So anything that finds support above there would be still fairly positive. But you'd say that these momentum indicators are just reversing slightly. They're just drifting backwards, and the DAX certainly seems to be in this consolidation phase over the past month or so. In terms of the intraday chart, you'll see that we've got this recent move that's just actually finding finding higher lows. But today we've opened sharply to the downside, and you've already put pressure on that low from the 17th of June. So 98.61 is the initial low that we're looking at. We'd actually hit it pretty much bang on this morning, almost to the tick, and we've rallied. So that is certainly going to be initially the support that we need to hold above. But any breakdown of that, you'll instantly open that 98.29 and also that 98.10 key support of the breakout. So we'll see if this consolidation pattern continues. We're back underneath all the moving averages, so that's not too much of a positive move. If you actually look back, the moving average, which is the 200-hour moving average, that has been the basis of support throughout May and June, and now breaking down, that is actually not too positive a move. But we'll see how this one pans out. But certainly the pressure is to the downside. You've now got this gap that's opened up, obviously, that goes up towards around about 99.40, so around about 60 points worth of gap. That could arguably need to be filled before we see further moves, but certainly at the moment the pressure is to the downside. So that's what we're seeing in the early European session. As I said, just look out for all these just very indecisive candles that we've had, and then spattered in with a series of negative candles as well. So we haven't had a really positive trading candle for about 2 weeks now on the DAX, and that just makes me a little bit concerned. Okay, so that's my outlook for the DAX, and I will speak to you later. Thank you.